All right, I'd like to welcome you back to iFishNews podcasting. In this round, we got a little bit things to talk about this round. This is a live show, live stream. We're on podcast, iFishNews, Podbean. This is Glenn with City of Allen Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube, and here on iFishNews on Podbean Podcast. And this round, what we want to do is just kind of recap some of the things that we talked about last Friday, specifically. We were talking about what we're going to do fishing-wise, as well as, yours truly had a little bit of wine. Well, I'm still having a little bit of wine tonight. So that said, here's to you. For those that were able to call in or listen in on this Podbean, I am drinking that Firehouse Red 2017 from Stubble Creek Vineyard up in Oklahoma from our last podcast. And I just had a sip of it. Anyhow, let's go ahead and talk about what we did this past weekend. So we were trying to get around to fishing in, and we did. Yours truly was able to hit a local pond, just a little pond. We call it Kroger Park. It's not an official name, but that's the AKA nickname for it because it's right next to a grocery market called Kroger. Anyways, ended up catching a few fish, bass or two with that Tinkara rod that we picked up from Tinkara USA, the Iowana. And yes, I got that rod now. And it worked out really well. Able to catch a few bluegill, some nice sized bluegill, in fact, and then a bass or two. And in particular, there was one place where yours truly was able to cast underneath some trees using a bow and arrow cast and was able to get this one bass to take, and we were able to land it no problem on a foam grasshopper. Did try some different flies, also saw some fish on the beds, some bass on beds, and even tried the bass on bed fly, but kept spooking them. Very wary as opposed to some other ones that we fished before. So anyhow, that's what we did fishing wise. Did have an attempt to go out to the local lake, one of the Corps Engineer lakes in our area, Lake Lavon, and had the kayak prepped. I'm sorry, got a little cough there. Let me take some wine here to clear that up. Okay, much better. So we hit up the Corps of Engineer Lake, where we was planning on it, but then a front came in, got some rain, temperature dropped. So instead, we shifted over to Tinkara fishing and hit that local pond that we just mentioned, a Kroger Pond. From there, started doing some other fishing preparations, as well as did a little catch and cook, or actually no catch, but did cook some Polska kielbasa sausage, as well as some chicken grilled on the gas grill. So that was pretty good, and then had a little martini here and there. So so far, it's been a really great weekend so far, and here we'll close it out with some more wine, as well as we chill to a Sunday before we start the work week. And unfortunately, yours truly is going to have to start commuting again. Can't do the remote work. So guess what? We'll be on site because of the COVID thing. We'll have the mask on, and we'll be supporting the team by making sure I don't give anything or you don't give anything to yours truly. And hopefully we'll keep reducing the amount of infections, or I don't know what the real name for that is, but hopefully we can keep it from spreading. So that said, we'll do like we say in Dallas County. You need to have a mask when you go to work, and being an essential work group, we'll definitely have our mask on. Okay, so enough of the public safety announcement. Let's go shift back to fishing. So didn't hit the lake, had the kayak actually in the pickup itself and was ready to go and launch and head out, but needed to find our favorite tackle that we use for crappie fishing, where we kind of jig, vertical jigging up and down trees and whatnot, submerged trees, and couldn't find it. And then we found it, but by then the rain hit. So, oops, held off and shifted over to the Tinkara pond fishing as the rain cleared up, and that was good to go. And then came back and, well, always related to fishing things. So I had a to-do list item to make sure we had the old 6 horsepower Johnson outboard motor ready to go so we can put it on the John boat and do some jug lining later in the year. So I got that knocked out. It's running like a champ after about 10 pulls or so from last winter or over the winter. Was able to get that one running again. So should be good to go this upcoming few weeks to do some jug lining in the John boat. So stay tuned for some of those videos, and hopefully we can bring Charlie, our City of Island Fishing Field team member, the newest team member, Charlie, the Maltese puppy. Well, he's a doggy now. Hopefully he'll be able to join us on some of these trips over to the local lake to catch some of those catfish on jug lines. So do stay tuned for that. Other things that we did this past weekend, well, we mentioned the grilling and chilling and cooking up a few things, did the fishing thing as well as, oh, by the way, that's one of those days where did want to get out there. Temperature dropped actually down in the 30s, 39 degrees, in fact. Pretty surprising here in North Texas. And then was planning on, again, doing that kayak fishing piece, and that kind of fell through. Did the pond fishing deal, and that got the wet line for the day done, and was able to get some fishing in. So didn't get any, what do you call it when you're not able to fish? Oh, convulsions, or like an addict gets when he's not able to do things. Well, this addict was not able to go fishing over the course of several weeks because some work-related things. So got our fix in with this pond fishing exercise. And in fact, was surprised at the number of fish that we were able to take in the deeper part of the pond. It was throwing us. We were using a foam grasshopper. Was expecting them to not hit. We were actually going to work the shallows, but for some reason decided to go hit the little pier on this pond and cast it out. And sure enough, they were striking, and good things there. And that we got some nice sized bluegill. And then later on, we went in shallows, kind of warmer area, and we were able to take some more when we switched over to a Griffith's gnat, because they were small. These were smaller bluegill out in the shallows, and by shifting over to the Griffith's gnat, we're able to bring those in no problem. So that was good. And then tonight, yours truly put a few grasshoppers together. I'll go ahead and show over here. For those on the podcast, in the video, VPod video podcast, I'm just showing an old Lee Perrin fly box that we used. Bought it way back when, back home at a hardware store. And in there's a mix of some mott flies, a few Griffith's gnat and small nymphs, and then kind of right on the bottom, I don't think you can see it too well. Let me see if I can bring it out a little bit. Yeah, here we go. About 3 grasshoppers. And this one we tied a little bit differently. It was a size 10 hook, and we used a foam cutter that we use for making caddis bodies, and kind of flipped the front portion of it to kind of give it a little extra visibility and give it a little bit more flotation. And it's about size 10 hook, mainly using it to target bluegill, but we think we can get a bass or two, just like we did the other day, using that Tenkara rod at that Kroger Park that we mentioned. So anticipating some good things to happen. And, well, yours truly pulled out his old Tenkara rod, not the one from Tenkara USA that we picked up a couple of weeks ago. This is one from Fountainhead. I don't even know if he's in business anymore, but a real nice guy back in, I think it was Michigan. Picked it up for about $50 before Tenkara was even a thing, and pulled that one out and threw it into the fishing hunting vest. And over the course of the next few weeks, hopefully we'll be able to get some a round or two of some fishing in while we're out commuting, non-commuting on the way home or to work. And it may hit a pot or two and get some of that video on there, and so we can show some of our subscribers how we did. And knowing that the bluegill will be out there shortly, we think of these foam grasshoppers or this variant of a foam grasshopper will work well. All righty. So before we move on, let's go ahead and have another little sip of wine. Okay, so some of the things that I know we're just starting out with the podcast. I think this is our first live stream, our first live stream, our fourth or fifth show technically, and each time we're broadcasting or posting. Excuse me. Each time we're podcasting and whatnot, I think we're getting a little bit better each time. So maybe someday we'll be part of that professional group of podcasters and YouTubers who can say things and present things in a clear manner, communicate well, and reduce our number of ums and ahs and likes. Because yours truly has been working really hard to stop saying that. Caught me there. Anyhow, hope to keep doing this in the near future as well as the long term because this thing is fun. One, we like it because our listeners, in fact, there's a handful, I think we're in the single digits right now, who have been downloading our podcast as well as jumping in on some of the Zoom meetings as well as watching our YouTube channel. And it's been really nice having that support and knowing that folks are listening in because the main purpose of iFishNews, City of Island Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team is our motto. Learn to fish by our trials and errors. And boy, we've had a lot of trials. We've had a lot of errors. And we've had a lot of successes. And I'm hoping that those that join us can have an idea or at least get an understanding of maybe some tips, things that might improve their success rate when it comes to fishing. And so that is our motto. That's what we do. That's what I do. And so far, we've been having a great ride. We had this one run where way back when YouTube started, and I think we joined back in 2008. Pretty much anybody could get monetized, and then things changed and took us about a little over a year to get monetized again with our 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 hour view. And it's been great again being monetized as well as having folks joining in on our discussions and whatnot and being able to just support the channel. So it's been really nice. So we wanted to extend this with the iFishNews podcasting, mainly because we noticed, like yours truly, myself, when I'm driving to and from work, I tend not to watch a video. I tend more to listen into different podcasts, be it the radio itself on iHeartRadio or a podcast. Some of our favorite host. And so we decided to go ahead and add in this podcasting communication arm of our arsenal of things to get the word out when it comes to fishing. Because bottom line, when it comes to fishing, well, I heard from an acquaintance way back in Monterey when I was going through postgraduate school. And I remember someone talking about fishing versus golfing, and one was saying fishing was boring and golfing was the greatest thing. And well, I think they're both fun, but I tend to shift over to fishing because definitely like the feel and tug of the fish pulling on the line versus the frustration of, golfing. It's brutal. I remember way back when fishing back in when I was in the service back at Admiral Bakerfield in San Diego. And one of my first things or experiences with watching people golf and actually golfing was getting ready to go to tee off at one hole and just heard a bunch of bad words and eventually saw a golf club flying in the air, and then a gentleman walking up to go pick up his golf club, and a lot of profanity, and explained to us, there were two of us, explained to us that he was frustrated with a particular hole that he was working. So, anyways, so if I was going to get frustrated, I'd rather be frustrated with fishing versus putting a little ball in a hole. Anyhow, I know there's some golfers out there and fishermen out there that may take some offense there, but hey, I definitely like fishing a lot more than golfing. But I do like to drive a Grange. That's always fun. You can swing your club as hard as you want or as soft as you want, and you could see this ball go wherever it wants. All right, so enough of the golfing stuff. This is a live stream, live show. We're hoping that folks will join if they can. If not, well, we'll keep talking anyways. And hopefully, maybe we might trigger someone to take up the cause, which is let's go fishing. All righty. So here's to you, a little toast. More of that Stribble Creek Vineyard Firehouse Red 2017 red wine. All righty. So kind of running out of things to say, but we want to just make sure that folks have the opportunity to listen in and we get the word out. And we're not the best at it at this point with the podcasting, and we're not the best at it when it comes to our fishing videos, but we hope to improve every day. And the main thing is what we want to do is, what I want to do is show you some of the things that I learned over the course of many years, decades of fishing. And there's some tricks and things that I think may prove useful for those that are starting out, especially when I started out fishing, I fished basically on trial and error. Learned a lot of things from the local library. I guess that was the old school internet back then. And then by trial and error, just getting out there in the field, being able to fish. And bottom line, if you got out there every day, I mean, there'd be days, months where I'd go every day. Could be a little pond down the road, could be the local lake, could be the coast. But just about every day I'd be able to go out there. With my day job currently, well, can't do that. But we can definitely take advantage of those opportunities when we're able to. And I know on the commute, there's at least two places that I know there are some nice looking bass. And being in the North Texas area, Dallas, Fort Worth proper, well, it's been a learning curve when it comes to my roots, which was fishing local ponds as well as fishing the coast. Back in Port A, South Texas, it was an awesome time being able to fish different piers, the beaches and whatnot, and then getting out into the flats, redfish, speckled trout, sand trout, piggy perch, you name it. It was an awesome time being able to grow up through that. Well, in North Texas, you don't have that, but there is still that opportunity. You got the local ponds, you got the local lakes, as well as just about less than 3 hours away, you've got an all year round fishery, Broken Bow, where you can do some trout fishing in a river, and that's pretty awesome. So, and then we've seen some other folks heading out to some places up in Missouri that definitely want to get out there sometime and check out the trout fishing up there. We're going to close out this round. This was our first live stream. Not sure how great it was, but hopefully each time we do this, we get a little bit better, and hopefully we get a few more folks to join and maybe able to share a tip or two or suggestion. But till then, just recapping this round, talked about this past weekend's activities, Tenkara fishing, the local pond, anticipated going out doing some kayak fishing, but the weather turned on us, and well, the forgetfulness of finding our favorite kayak fishing tackle box kind of slowed us up there. But luckily, we were able to divert being caught in the rain and able to knock out some other things to include starting up that old 6 horsepower Johnson motor so we could take the John boat out and hit up the local lake for some jug lining here in the near future. And then from there, we just talked about a few things about, fishing and fishing things in general. So that said, do stay tuned. We'll get some more VPod, video podcasting, as well as podcasting here on iFishNews, as well as the videos on our YouTube channel, COAF Field Team. And then from a teaser standpoint, well, over the course of the next few days, if I get a chance to hit up a local pond, I'm going to drop that Tenkara. We're going to bring out the old Tenkara rod, that one that we picked up from Fountainhead for $50 way back when. We're going to go and take that out there, and hopefully we'll see if we can catch a bass or two maybe at one of these local ponds on the commute home or the commute to work. And then stay tuned, because maybe we might get that John boat up and running, maybe repaint it a little bit and do some jug lining in that contraption. And hopefully we can bring the dog with us, Charlie, the Maltese doggy, because he definitely likes to go out on the water. We just got to keep him out of the water. And then we'll always have a glass or two of wine. So here's to those that are able to join and those that are able to listen to the podcast after the live session. Till next time, we'll catch you later, and good luck, good fishing.